What follows is a quick review of Legends Golf Course. We didn't do all of the holes because we were actually playing around, and this is sort of in preparation for AGA's tournament, February 11th, 2024. So this is hole one. I would say that this is an awful lot like a Irish links course without the gorse or the seagrass. The fairways tend to be slightly narrowish, but I would say they're still generous. They do place lots of sand traps, so you kind of better have your sand trap game in play because you're going to find yourself in the trap, especially around the greens. They seem to trick up the course with these sand traps. Some of the greens with the drone were a little bit hard to tell, to distinguish between what the natural fairway grass is and what the green grass is, because everything is sort of brown. So here is Mr. Dickman, one of your own, putting on number one. So he's uphill. Be prepared that these greens are fastish coming downhill. They're really hard to get a feel, so be prepared for that. It is a Bermuda that you're going to be putting on. All right, this is number two. Be careful with these fairway bunkers on the left. I would say that if you have a tendency to fade your shots, this course tends to be very generous for that. Again, you're going to notice a lot of sand traps, and now the sand is quite coarse. It's quite coarse, and it's not real deep. So be prepared that you have to have a little bit lighter touch in order to get those out. Now we're going to look backwards. This is where we came from. You know, I liked the course. I thought it was nicely laid out. The holes were interesting and challenging. The course is relatively fair in that it's got, if you've got reasonable shot shape, you can score well. One of the things I thought were a little annoying where there's an awful lot of drainage ditches everywhere, like in the middle of the fairway. So you might hit a good shot and then you're going to find yourself kind of in a little trough where it's got a drainage ditch. So hopefully somebody will come up with a good drop rule for that. Okay, number three, this is a little bit tripped up, so you don't see the lake on the right, and you also don't want to go into the sand trap. I think that if you're to the right of the sand traps, you're in a good position, a good layup position to get over the water. You don't even have to go over the water. There's a big oak tree that you can see, the tallest oak tree. That's kind of where you want to aim for your second shot. Okay, some of these shots are a second review. Had a little bit of technical difficulties, but that's the way it is. All right, we're going to watch Mr. Dickman's drive and see what his drive looks like. He's actually driving pretty good in the back nine, especially. Well, I guess we didn't want to watch all of it. So this is a real interesting hole. So even though there's a lot of water there, it really isn't in play because it's close enough to the tee box that you can easily clear it, and as long as you don't like hook the ball, you're going to be just fine. So this hole especially, you sort of want to fade the ball in number 6, keep away from the bunkers, keep away from the water. So you don't want to yank it, you don't want to hook it, you don't want a strong draw. You want to fade the ball. You want to stay out of the sand trap. This will kind of give you an overview of the site. It's nice. It's a nice little location. So that's probably number 5 hole that we're looking at there, because we're on number 6 tee box. You know, it's pretty. This is a branch of the Colorado River, and then it meanders down and goes into Lake LBJ. So this is a much better overview of number 6. Again, don't get too concerned about that water. It's really, the tee box is close enough that it's not really in play So don't freak out, just keep the ball to the right. This is going to be one where you're going to want to have a good second shot so that you're in good position. Sand traps, again, the texture of the sand is fairly coarse. It's not real deep. Again, some of these greens are a little bit difficult to distinguish between the greens and the fairway because it's all kind of brown. So again, this is still number 6 hole. Over there on the right, you're going to see probably 7 or 8. We're close to the clubhouse at this point. So again, we're still on number 6. Probably spent a little bit too much time on it, but I've got whatever footage I have. That's what I've got. Yeah, it's easy to get enough. It's easy to get over that water. Okay, now we're going to actually see Mr. Dickman's shot. Let's see what his drive looks like. Yeah, you know, in the back nine, he was shooting quite well. Yeah, don't expect us to shoot a low score. It's a tricky course, tricky enough that you're not going to have lots of easy shots, especially not being familiar with it. This is number 7. Similar here. See, it's like if you lots of room on the right, so a fade is a good idea. And there's a lot of room on the right. Stay away from the bunkers on the left. And this is number 7. See these drainage ditches, these little spots in the middle of the fairway, man, they're like everywhere. So you may find yourself hitting a pretty good shot, and then you find you're going to be in one of those little drainage holes, and it's going to be a drag. I don't think you can take a drop unless you are directly on the grate. The other nice thing I like what they've done is they've made these berms on the edges of the fairway, which helps to keep the ball in play. So again, I would say that they've kept the course fair, is what I would describe it as. It's not overly dangerous. I mean, and then again too, it doesn't have a lot of, it is like a links course, not a lot of brush and deep grass or rough areas. So if you're off, there's not a whole lot there. You're sort of in a flat area or a non-terrible area. Yeah, so again, look at the greens, small. Everything kind of floats to the lake. So when in doubt, sort of plan on drainage being towards the water. Kind of gives you another, we're going back, number 7. Going back towards the tee box. Ground, okay, so you got a lot of rollout. The ground is pretty hard and things are going to roll out. So be aware of that. If you're at the edge of where you need to be, just maybe cut a little bit shorter. Okay, this hole, this is number 9. I kind of like this hole. It's really uphill. So even this, if you aim enough to the left, almost where that big tree, that oak tree is, you can even slice the ball and you're going to be in good shape because it kind of dog legs right. You are down at the bottom and you're going up the hill. And you do want to get up as far as you can, hopefully stay out of those traps. But if you hit a good drive, you can actually pass the traps and get up into this flat area. Then you have a good view of the green. The green is going to be over this cart path. This green was fairly generous. We were just fooling around a little bit and placed a couple balls on the back side of that green, and it was hard to get the touch of the speed. If you are way up the green and you're putting downhill, it was really difficult to get the feel. So this is number 9. I like this hole a lot, actually. I thought it was nice, challenging, nice layout. And just before number 8 is a par 3, way over to the left where the other cart path is. That's number 18 coming back, going back to the clubhouse. That's got there's a little bit of trickiness there, because if you're way over to the right, you're going to be in trouble. All right, that's your host. Look at those shoes. So I didn't do every hole. This is just to give you a flavor. Now this one's pretty tripped up, number 11. It's got 2 lakes. Number 3, you don't see the lake, and I think number 11, if I remember right, you don't see the lake. I think there's 2 lakes, and one of them you can't see, so this video will help you. Just stay to the left. And the fairway is pretty wide, that as long as you don't really hook it, you're going to be okay. Yeah, this is the second lake, and a lot of these lakes are hidden. Just because of the elevation of where the tee box is. So on number 11, remember to stay to the right of this second lake, because the green is just kind of where that cart is going. Again, sometimes I'm actually just using the drone to find the green. It was a little bit bright out, and you're looking at a small screen, so it's kind of hard because everything is brown on brown, so it's difficult to get a feel for where the green was, so I was sort of hunting around for it. But this will give you a nice feel. Stay accurate with your shots. Thanks for watching.